Have you ever wanted to know how to save money on a road trip in the United States? Well, this might be the video for you. I just went on a 24-hour drive out of state and then back into state, so a total of a 48-hour drive just to pick up a dog. And I tried to do it as portably as possible, and this is how I did it. First of all, you want to create budgets for everything. We weren't stopping and doing fun things. We were originally planning to, but we ended up scrapping that because we just didn't have the funds to do it. So if you want to do fun things, you definitely want to have a budget for that, but this is what I did for what I needed to do. So we created a gas budget. I looked into the gas prices of every state, and I took the highest price when the gas is usually at its higher amount and acted like that was going to be the gas everywhere we went. Now it was about 1,200 miles to where I was driving to, give or take. So I divided how many miles my car can get per full tank, which is usually around 400. I lowballed it, so I said 350. Divided that by the total amount of miles, so 2,400 of our trip. And I got how many times we'd have to fill up the tank the entirety of the trip. Then once I did that, I times how many gallons it takes to fill up our tank. So I think it's like 13 gallons. And by the most expensive, times 13 gallons by how many times we have to fill up our tank, and then times that by the higher gas price amount. So we got how many total gallons for the entire trip and the higher gas amount, and that gave us our gas budget for the trip. That's over projecting, of course, but I'm a big person that I'm really rather be safe than sorry. And so we ended up having plenty of funds for gas. But that was a trick that really helped and worked for me. So if you're thinking about going on a road trip, maybe try that. Try to take the highest you'd expect to pay in gas and charge it as if you're going, as if that's the amount you're paying for every gas station. Now it did help that we do have a Sam's Club card, and we were very particular at making our stops at Sam Clubs and Buc-ee's, things that are typically a lower gas place. So that comes to the next step, which is be very specific on where you stop. Have a planned out route on where you're going to stop, because it will save you money on gas. If you're getting snacks, we didn't get snacks at Sam's, but if you wanted to get a meal at Sam's, that would be a lot cheaper than getting a meal at any fast food place. Or if you wanted to just pack your own lunches, bring a cooler. Well, we'll get into that. But if you wanted to do get food at Buc-ee's or something to tide you through, then you want to know which Buc-ee's am I stopping at way before. You don't just put your destination to be the place you're going and then be I'll figure out the stops along the way. That's how you run into getting more expensive gas. I remember that we had an unexpected stop in Alabama and just needed a little bit of gas to get to our next location. And it was $3.60? No, that's over exaggerating. Hold on. It was $3.30, and that was the most expensive gas we saw on the entire trip. And I was oh. So we only filled it up just a little bit more than we needed to get to our next location to get gas. But you don't want to have to do that all the time on your road trips. It ends up wasting a lot of money. And now going on to the third little help. Third thing I recommend is to pack your own food. That's saying a lot, because you're traveling, you want to enjoy yourself. But if you're going to be spending time at your destination, you're going to want to bring your own food for the drive up and save money to go to nicer things at the destination. I say this as someone who's gluten intolerant. Y'all who have been here know that I can't have gluten, so it's easier said than done for me, because I can't eat at most fast food places anyway because of the cross-contamination. And it's always a risk if I do, of getting upset tummies, hurting joints and stuff, all that jazz. And so it's easier said than done for me, because I have to pack my food most of the time in my everyday life anyway. but it's something that is a game changer on how much money you'll be saving on your trip, especially if it's a day's trip, couple days trip. I packed like 8 ham and cheese sandwiches for my boyfriend. I packed me 5 spring rolls, and it was a 3-day trip. And we stopped to eat at some like really renowned places. Like, I'll put on the screen here, this mom and pop shop. It was so good. It was literally called Mom and Pops. It was so good. Also super not gluten intolerant friendly, but like it was worth it. It was so worth it. But you want to have that extra funds for those experiences. And if you're traveling on a budget, packing your food is a great way to go. And if you're worried about it like going bad, what we like to do is we pack frozen water bottles. We do like 10, so the first day while we're driving, we drink like the water as it defrosts, and then whenever it needs ice, we'll buy ice. But until it gets to that point, we use the frozen water bottles. And if you stop at Buc-ee's, if you have a Buc-ee's or a big retail chain gas stations, the ice at Buc-ee's is $1. It's $1. And so you'll have like cold food. We also brought protein shakes because my food isn't very filling at times, so I needed like something else to help me get through meals at times. And that's just because carbs make a lot of difference when it comes to feeling full, but that's besides the point. So that was my next tip. My tip number 3 is to pack your own food. Tip number 4, which is very much a choice. Very much a choice. Not something everyone has to do. Let me put that out there. Red flashing signs. You do not have to do this. But if you really wanted to like save a couple $100 until you get to your destination, maybe, hear me out, sleep in your car. No, before you click off, we took shifts. I had somebody else I was taking shifts with. I'm a night owl, so I'd stay up all night driving, little granny style, because I'm short. But I'm also scared to drive in the day, so I would sleep during the day in the car, and we'd switch off, and at night he'd sleep while I drove. And that worked out perfectly for us because it was just easier that way. The only problem is our car doesn't have AC. Would not recommend if your car doesn't have AC. But if your car does have AC and you don't mind stopping at like a truck stop or like a Buc-ee's. I keep saying Buc-ee's. It's because they were so easy to stop at our trips, and it felt safe. There's plenty of well-lit area. Had dog stopping, walking. Not a sponsorship, but it was wonderful. Just a truck stop, You can stop and sleep at a truck stop for the night if you really need it. If you want to try to avoid hotel fees until you get to your location. Of course, when planning any trip, you want to have everything planned in advance. So if you're going to sleep somewhere, like how you planned for when you stop for gas, you will be planning which gas station you plan on stopping at for sleeping. And I'd always add being 2 to 3 hours late, because you never know what's on the road when you're road tripping. There's usually car accidents. Sorry to say, there's usually car accidents. There's usually construction. You're bound to be a couple hours late to your destination. It's just how it is road tripping. Since we're talking about the trip that started in college, and come here. Up. I'm gonna pick you up if you don't come up. What a baby. She's big. I can't. The girl that started the trip, that became the inspiration for this video. Are you a baby? Are you a baby? And yeah, I do not recommend going on a road trip if you do not have the financial means for it. Let me get that straight. But I had put money aside for this, and it wasn't so much a let's go road tripping. It was more like a kind of a necessity because I was picking up my dog. But yeah, if you need to save money, or you want to save money on the road trip so you can enjoy the location, that's a great way. Those are some great tips to do it. Let's just recap it real quick. You want to create a gas budget. You also want to plan which gas stations you're stopping on the way up. You also want to maybe pack some food with you, some water bottles, some fun drinks, like maybe sodas even. You can sleep in your car if you want to go that far. You also don't have to go that far. Thanks so much for watching. We've actually gotten a surge of people who have newly subscribed. So welcome to the channel. Hi! And yeah, I do kind of videos like this. I hope you enjoy. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Sky's never the limit. Never give up. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!